Did you know that as a free-to-play player, Archer player in Call of Dragons, you can outperform heavy spenders with the right hero combinations and right hero skills? After 2 years of maining Archers, I have discovered the exact free-to-play setup that can dominate in both PvE and PvP. In this guide, I will reveal which Archer heroes you should prioritize to allocate your legendary tokens to maximize the efficiency, and why 13 artifacts can give you an unfair advantage without spending a dime. Stick around, this could be completely change how you approach Call of Dragons as you are preparing yourself to be Archer main, right? Why Archer Legions are amazing for a free-to-play players, right? When you start the game, you don't have a lot of troops you can build around, and there is some couple of advantages and disadvantages choosing Archers as your main troop type, right? So why it is good to choose Archers? First of all, I understand in Call of Dragons, Archers are not the longest troop type in terms of attack range, but still they are ranged units. So basically, in my opinion, when you start the game, it's preferable for you to have ranged unit because at least you will have some fun, right? In order for you to be tanky, even with infantry or cavalry as a free-to-play player, especially during the beginning, you have to have at least tier 4, tier 5 troops. And on the other hand, you don't really actually need to be tier 5 as a ranged player, especially when you start the game. There is another way, for example, another most important aspect why Archers, in my opinion, are dominating for a free-to-play aspects of the game. Well, alright, we don't have same range as a mage players, but we are way more tanky, we have way more damaging abilities in terms of physical attack, and yeah, our auto attack is basically dealing more damage than their skills, right? So that's pretty easy to understand. Every second you are dealing damage to enemy, you are actually dealing your maximum amount of damage. But on the other hand, for the mages, you have to use your rage to cast the skill, and then you are actually dealing damage, right? And of course, when you start the game, especially during the early stages, where archers really shine, like unlike cavalry that needs multiple speed moments to rush to enemies, for example, or even infantry who wants to be really tanky, right? You can outperform them using your range, and you have to basically play with your alliance members whenever you are fighting, and you are playing as a free-to-play player with archer. Basically, solo gameplay is not for you, right? You have to play around with your alliance members, group up, play in a single ball, and moving with the single ball as your alliance members are defending each other. That's how you are actually dealing damage with your archer troops, right? Of course, when you start, you are kinda worried that you are not successful during PvPs, but at the other hand, especially during the beginning, you are amazing in terms of PvE gameplay, right? And it's pretty well known that archers are basically the best behemoth killers in the game. Every single behemoth which will be needed at the start of the KVK or the season for your alliance to actually destroy, trust me, archers are number one choice. Why? It's really simple to understand why archers will be number one choice, because they are dealing highest amount of damage even during beginning, right? Even if you are not tier 5 player, still archers will be always number one priority into the behemoth fights. In basically every single fight there is one or two tank and everybody is archers, right? So that's another reason why archers are priority and why you will dominate as a free-to-play player whenever you're gonna choose to be archer main in the future, right? Of course, there is a lot of details which should happen in order for you to be successful archer, but some kind of tips are really important. Don't try to waste your troops with the rallies on your enemy cities. try at first to collect the legions, especially archers. Like for example, I have 2 million archers troops, almost 2 million archer troops, and since I got at least 1 million archers, my gameplay totally changed, right? So yeah, like as a free-to-play player choosing archer, don't look at the archer as a lesser version of mages. I prefer archers with mages a lot, because every single second you're actually dealing damage. You are fine against infantry, you are fine against cavalry, you are faster in terms of march speed if we are comparing to mages. So basically there is like a lot of key takeaways, is that the archers reward strategic play of the brute force. You don't need expensive heroes or maxed troops to compete against pay-to-play players. Just good composition, a target selection, and play-to-play players often underestimate well-played archer comps because they assume higher power ratings guarantees wins. Now let's see which heroes make this possible, right? Because heroes are one of the most important aspect if you want to be strong in Call of Dragons, right? And of course, when choosing heroes as a free-to-play player, focus on key factors, right? These three key factors are availability, synergy, and upgrade efficiency. You want to have heroes you can constantly get legendary tokens without spending in the game, right? Whose skills complement each other well, and who don't require maxed out skill levels in order for you to perform immediately. Many players waste their legendary tokens by investing in every single hero which is in the game, and in the end they don't even have one good hero pair which will have high amount of skill levels, right? For example, let's say during beginning you will have a couple of choices for the archer hero pairs which will be amazing for free-to-play players and even pay-to-play players, right? With these three factors which I have mentioned, which is synergies, availability, and efficiency, upgrade efficiency, right? We have two choices. We have Kinara and Nico, and my choice will always go with Kinara. Of course, Nico, we will get Nico from the gold keys. Kinara is gettable from the lucky spins, but you also can put the heroes on your VIP daily tokens, which will give us one token per day, right? So why I choose Kinara? Because in my opinion, Kinara can be used with many different hero pairs, not like Nico, right? Nico is kinda limited in terms of hero pairs. Kinara has quite a lot. Kinara has Host, Kinara has Nico, Kinara is pretty nice with Sibyl, Kinara is nice with Musiang, Kinara can be played pretty fine with Zaida also, and yeah, Kinara can be also fine with Thea, right? So I think Kinara has way more playability and way more heroes which she can perform pretty well. Kinara also even can be used in some cavalry hero pairs, which is pretty nice, right? So in terms of our three most important factors, we are comparing Kinara and Nico because those are the heroes which will be the first archer heroes you will be able to get when you start the game, and that's why I think Kinara is more suitable for the free-to-play players, and that's why she was my first ever legendary hero which I have ever created, right? So I think this hero, if you are going to invest in this hero and you're gonna spend your gems in lucky spins, you will be really happy, right? So that's like number one hero when you start the game. My advice to go and try to make Awaken, then even get the 6 star, because stars actually matter in the game. So the next one, the next hero, I won't gonna speak about every single hero, I'm just talking about the most crucial heroes, is Zaida, right? Zaida, I know, will come out later stages of the game, unlike Syndron and Freygar, which will be the next hero. My advice for free-to-play players would be to skip Syndron and Freygar. As you can see, I have only 5111 and 5112, which means I basically skip them because I understood as a free-to-play player, at that time, I still have not even awakened Kinara, new heroes came out, and I knew it would be impossible for me to get that much legendary tokens. So my decision was to skip Syndron and Freygar, and I was collecting the legendary tokens. I got lucky we got such an amazing hero, which is Zaida, which is one of the most crucial heroes which you can actually get for your Archer gameplay, right? Zaida has amazing pair, which will be number one hero, but number two most important hero for Archers to awaken is Zaida, right? So my first year of gameplay I have spent as a free-to-play player to awaken Kinara, and basically second year was to awaken Zaida, right? Zaida is great. Zaida is different from Kinara. Kinara is debuff or skill damage user. Zaida is normal attacker healer, right? And at the start of the video, I mentioned that I prefer archers to mages as a free-to-play player because archers are dealing damage every single second, and that's like high damage, and the mages need like a couple of seconds in order for them to use the skill. And as a tier 4 player, I'm sure we won't gonna have that much time as a tier 4 players to deal damage when you are mainly fighting against tier 5s. So Zaida, a lot of normal attack damage. There is not a single active skill on Zaida's kit. Every single skill is passive, right? Which is basically you are buffing everything what is important for Archer gameplay. And importance of Archer gameplay is normal attacks, march speed, and like damage dealing buffs, and every single thing which archers need to have for a good PvP hero. Zaida has that, right? And also we have to also mention even Kinara, even Zaida, both of them are PvP heroes, so leveling up them randomly will make you stronger by every single level. So that's also really crucial, right? The next hero, which is the number one hero in my opinion for Archer players, for a free-to-play or pay-to-play players to have, that's Magrat, right? Magrat is number one hero in terms of Archer gameplay. In my opinion, the amazing hero pair Magrat and Zaida will 3 or 5x your merits which you were getting before, right? If Zaida was giving us passive skills with normal attack damage dealing abilities in terms of buffs, Magrat is giving us a lot of healing with a multiplier to deal damage, right? So basically, Magrat and Zaida as a hero pair will be dealing damage, a high damage with crits, and at the same time they are going to heal your legions. And in my opinion, healing in open field PvP in Call of Dragons is simply absolutely amazing, right? But like in general, if like in the end, if we're gonna compare these three heroes, of course, like if we're gonna compare any single archer hero to Magrat and Zaida, I would say Magrat and Zaida is at least 3 times better, if not more, right? But like in order, like for you to get the idea like how strong they are and like how you can actually build those heroes, because like leveling them up and awakening them is not the job done, right? One misspelled talent like can reduce your legion's damage to minus 50%. The difference adds up over hundreds of battles, especially when you are a free-to-play player and need area advantage, right? Talent trees look straightforward, but most players make the same crucial mistakes, either spreading points too thin or locking into builds too early. The key is focusing on talent synergy rather than chasing every minor buff. Let me walk you through the optimal path for the heroes which we basically spoke, right? And we're gonna start with Kinara. Of course, for the Kinara, as I said, Kinara in my eyes is debuffer, which is dealing damage by the skill. Kinara won't gonna deal a lot of damage, but Kinara will apply a lot of debuff. That's why talent tree, which is control talent tree, is basically giving us more firepower in terms of control and debuff aspects. And that's why reticent, when your legion casts a rage skill, they have 20% chance to silence the target, preventing them from casting rage skill for 2 seconds. This talent tree can help you and like help you to survive in a moment where cavalry or infantry is going to blink and you want to survive, right? The next one is Soul Siphon. Counterattacks have 10% chance to steal 40 rage from the enemy, which is nice because we are basically connected to the rage in terms of this hero pair. This is the most important, because if we are not using rage, it means we are not applying debuffs, we are not applying damage, so we are really, really weak. We have control tree until the maximum, and we have marksman tree until the half with the bullseye. When your legion consists entirely of marksman units, they gain 5 stacks of attack increase every 10 seconds while in the battle. Each stack increases their attack by 1%. Each normal attack they launch removes 1 stack. So basically we are increasing our attack, and in general archers, since have the highest attack in the game, we love every single percentages in terms of attack, right? So this is the Kinara talent tree. Read it, understand it, and then you can actually try it in the game and you will see how it actually performs, right? The talent tree for Magrat is really simple. I will mention that only primary heroes talent trees actually matter in the game. So if your hero is secondary, don't even there is no way it will work, so there is not a chance to actually use them, right? For the Magrat talent tree, we have marksman, garrison, and precision. The precision talent tree, in my opinion, is the strongest one. I really like mighty slash. When launching a normal attack, your legion has a 50% chance to trigger an additional normal attack. This effect can be triggered once every 20 seconds. So basically additional attack when your whole gameplay is focused around dealing damage from the normal attacks, which is super good. The invisible, when launching a normal attack, you gain your legion has 10% chance to gain onslaught, increasing their normal attack damage by 8% for 5 seconds. 8% is a good amount of percentages, and 5 seconds is still fine. For the bullseye, when your legion consists entirely of marksman units, we are getting attack. And as always, I have mentioned attacks, like attack bonuses and HP bonuses are number one bonuses in my opinion for archer heroes. So basically, when you are starting the game, you have a lot of options in terms of your talents. For example, for Nico's talent tree, this is the Nico's talent tree. If you want to run Nico as a primary hero, yet again, Mighty Slash is here. I choose Whirlwind, and here I went to Army of Valor. Increases damage dealt by your legion while in battle for 1% every 10 seconds to a maximum 3%, which is nice in my opinion, and I think this is a pretty good talent tree which I have been using for a while. Yet again, if you still want to know the talent trees of the Syndrion, this is the talent trees of the Syndrion. Here I went Mark of the War. Like I was just testing because all the time I'm going for Mighty Slash. Here I went for Mark of the War, but in my opinion, Mighty Slash is much better. The invisible here, yet again, we won't gonna read it. We are gonna getting onslaught, which is 8% attack for 5 seconds. And yeah, there is a one skill which is steady shot, which I'm not really advising you to unlock because it can reduce your attack range, and we never want to reduce our attack range in my opinion, because yeah, like it will be too much for the archers to lose range if we are fighting against mage players, especially, right? So the skill priority and what to learn first, right? It's a pretty good question, especially if you are starting the game. Which skills are great and which skill you have to learn and how you should build your heroes, right? There is some heroes in the game which has the skills which we never want to add levels, especially as a free-to-play players, and those are, for example, on Magrat, the Garrison skill. For example, on Syndrion, Rally skill, which is basically the skills which are not applied in the open field PvP, which is basically -1 skill. So this is the Rally skills, this is the Garrison skills, those are peacekeeping skills, and those are gathering skills, right? We always want to add skills as a free-to-play players to heroes which are basically PvP heroes, right? Which means every single skill is usable in the open field. And of course, I will speak directly about heroes, right? As always, Number one and most important skill for every single hero is first skill, right? And here for the Maggot, there is a perfect example how we can use Maggot, right? 555, you don't even have to unlock the fourth skill, just make first skill 5 level, second skill 5 level, third skill 5 level, and that's it. Magrat is ready to be powerful in the open field. Same goes, for example, for infantry, right? For the Goresh, 5-5-5-1, and Goresh is basically ready to fight, right? Because the first skill is the city garrison skill, and those skills are basically only applied whenever you are getting hit in the city and your hero is the garrison hero, or you are the rally leader and you want the skill to be applied, right? So for example, for the Kinara, which I gave you the advice to invest, every single skill is important, so don't hesitate. Just throw the skills, throw the legendary tokens and upgrade all the skills. Same goes for Zaida. Every single skill is good and usable in open field. That's why throw the tokens, will be fine. For the Magrat 555, then you can unlock 4 skill. For Nico until the update had engineering skill second, but now she's PvP, so Nico is worth it to throw the legendary tokens and upgrade every single skill. For the Syndrion, unfortunately, since Syndrion is rally skill is second skill, it's impossible to do it correctly, but it would be like 5-1-5-5 will be the correct choice. Same goes for the Freygar, 5-5-5-5 will be fine. And of course, Falgrim is PvP hero yet again. Every single skill will be fine to upgrade. And for the Sibyl, same story as Syndrion, right? Second skill is rally skill, and that's why it's hard for free-to-play players to actually invest in the legendary heroes, which has second skill, garrison or rally skill, right? The artifact selection for free-to-play players are really important, and of course we have to speak about the artifacts, because artifacts are one of the most important things, especially for free-to-play players, because it's hard to get them, right? It's hard to get them, and we have to understand which artifacts is great for free-to-play players. For example, Shadow Blades, right? The most free-to-play players overlook Shadow Blades and Heart of Kamasi, but in my opinion, for example, Heart of Kamasi, you are missing out on a lot of damage, especially from the skill, right? If you are getting Heart of Kamasi as a free-to-play player, you should be super happy. You should be super happy because you will be able to use Heart of Kamasi on every single archer hero. I know it's a defensive stats, but the skills, the skill buffs which you are getting, especially for normal attack archers, is simply amazing, right? Of course, Shadow Blades and Heart of Kamasi, plus because we can get them from the normal pools, which is basically every day we have a chance to acquire them. And of course, there is one big thing about free-to-play players worrying regarding the levels of artifacts. Just don't look at the levels, right? Unlock the artifact and be happy. That's how I look at the artifacts, right? And yeah, Shadow Blades is level 2, Heart of Kamasi level 2, level 1, level 1, level 1. I just unlock them and it's fine. Trust me. Of course, it would be amazing if we had level 3, level 4, but yeah, it's not reality, right? But yeah, of course, I will speak about directly for the artifacts, right? Early game, Shadow Blades and Heart of Kamasi can be used on every single archer hero pair. Next goes Rattle Spear, right? Of course, if you decided to go with my roadmap of becoming strong free-to-play player, Rattle Spear would be amazing to have on Kinara, because Rattle Spear is exclusive artifact for Kinara. We're not gonna go to details like defense break, defense reduction, additional effects. Everything indicates that Rattle Spear is Kinara's main artifact. The next one, I think this is the most important artifact which you can get as a archer player, is Gilded Crossbow. Not only this is the best in slot artifact for Magrat and Zaida, I believe this is the purely best artifact in game for archers. Not only you're gonna deal a lot of damage, the HP bypass. This skill is giving the march speed, which will help us to survive a lot of hard moments to actually survive. And yeah, I believe with my own gameplay, since this artifact came out, this is just the best one in terms of survivability, getting merits, like helping your alliance members, and so on, right? The next one, which is Iron Tusk, this is the exclusive artifact for Falgrim, like same kind of story as Rattlespear in terms of exclusiveness. For the Gold Crest, this is exclusive artifact for Freygar and Syndrion hero pair, so if you invested your Syndrion and Freygar in terms of levels, you should be happy. And Wireless Bow is just like random artifact which can be used when you are just using on a random support hero pair, right? Artifacts, I know artifacts are not that easy to get. It will take some time. My advice would be to use 30k gems at the every end of the KVK and try Universal Artifact Compendium. That's how I got Rattlespear. That's how I got Iron Tusk, and Gilded Crossbow I got from the Artifact Throwback event, which was first or second anniversary of Call of Dragons, which was basically everybody was choosing one artifact, and I chose Gilded Crossbow. That's how I actually unlocked this artifact, and since unlocking it, it's really good. I believe this artifact gave me a lot of merits, because last KVK was really amazing, because, for example, I got 12 million merits, right? Enough about heroes and artifacts. Troop composition secrets are really important, right? For example, in Call of Dragons, we have different troop compositions for every single faction. We have Spring Wardens, we have League of Order, we have Wilderburg, right? Of course, everybody knows that the best special units in the game, we have League of Order, but I believe Celestials are not the best special units in the game. League of Order has mages, Spring Wardens has cavalry, and Wilderburg has archers, right? So in my opinion, and it might be controversial, everybody thinks League of Order has the best one mages, then Spring Wardens with eagles, and wyverns are the last one. In my opinion, this is totally false, and in general, I believe if you are archer player, you should always play with Wilderburg. Not only we have additional physical attack, our troops have amazing inside buffs, right? And that's why I said troop composition secrets, right? For example, for archers in the Wilderburg faction, we have all damage dealt buff, which is the best buff you can get in the game for dealing damage. For the League of Order ballistas, normal attack damage. And what's funny, normal attack damage is meant when we say all damage, because all damage is also a normal attack, right? For the archers of Spring Wardens, funny part, wait, here archers, we are just getting physical attack. And funny thing, all damage increase means physical attack, normal attack damage, counter attack damage, skill damage. So basically for archers, Wilderburg Archers has the best buff which you can actually get as an archer troop, right? So I'm pretty sure a lot of players are missing that out. I have asked the developers of the game regarding all damage dealt, and they said all damage dealt means every single damage type: skill damage, normal attack damage, counter attack damage, crit damage, like everything is put together in this small thing, right? And in addition to that, yeah, as I said, Celestials, everybody thinks Celestials are the best one, right? I disagree. I believe Wyverns are amazing, right? And we have to look at the Wyvern's special skills. Not only we can destroy towers with Wyverns, that's also true. And I know we have just lower amount of physical attack just comparing to archers, right? We have this skill, Wildfire. When launching an attack, normal attack, 30% chance to increase HP, amazing buff, and normal attack damage. Funny thing, League of Order Archers has normal attack damage increase, and Wyverns just basically have it in talents. They are faster, they are really fun to play, and we are just missing some heroes for wyverns, which will make them even stronger, right? Even stronger. How do I use wyverns? I use wyverns with my support hero pairs in this Tara, in this Musyang. I believe wyverns are amazing for support gameplay, healing, because you will be tanky with this kind of buffs for the wyverns and this kind of gameplay. Trust me, wyverns are pretty tanky if you have healers around them and you have some defensive stats. These wyverns are going to be alive for a long time within this entire hero pair, and they will give a lot of buffs to Magrat and Zaida, which of course will have equipped with the normal archers, because we also want them to deal damage, because normal archers basically for the Wilderburg faction, yeah, 5%. We can, this is the thing which I was trying to mention, right? 5%. So I think difference is really huge, right? Like I just don't want to like compare too much. I believe archers, if we are comparing to Spring Wardens and League of Order, this is too much, right? This is too much. The advanced archer combat tactics, right? And I believe Call of Dragons is the best kingdom builder game, because fighting and combat tactics all matter a lot in Call of Dragons, and it matters how you can actually feel your legion, right? For example, for the archer gameplay, we know that we have a medium range, and often like it comes down to positioning rather than raw power and stats. I have beaten players with higher combat ratings simply by placing my archers correctly around the map. Most players make mistakes of treating range as a static advantage when it should be always actively managed. Your archers should be all rally stand in a battle situation. Constant repositioning creates frustration for opponents who can't land decisive blow to your archers, and that's why like high march speed for archer gameplay is also very important. In PvE scenarios like Darkling farming, which we are doing right now, you will always maximize your range, especially during the beginning until your Darkling will come closer. You will be always already dealing damage, and it will help you to get more experience for your heroes, especially for the beginning, right? Like formations matter. Formations matter, but when you start the game, formations basically don't matter, because one hero pair, one march is quite enough for you to be successful in Call of Dragons. I know having multiple marches, and especially for Archer, I always advise to run with multiple marches, but you have to have a lot of troops. You have to have at least 4 good leveled heroes, so I understand how hard it is. That's why focus on one hero pair. One hero pair will be enough for you to kill any Darkling. One hero pair will be enough for you to run any fort. One hero pair will be enough to participate in any behemoth raid which will happen, and one hero pair will be enough for you to get merits which will make you happy, and with those merits you are going to get a lot of important skills, right? So one hero pair which archers have, that's of course Magrat and Zaida. If you are just going to invest everything on this hero pair, you will be good to go for a long time, right? You should never forget that terrain matters, map matters. You can always use whatever is in front of you, such as resource nodes, such as terrains, such as bridges, because they are really important. Understanding the formations and combat tips and tactics in Call of Dragons is deeply connected to your merits and to your fun of the game, right? And of course, when you are speaking about Call of Dragons, we have to speak about my favorite feature of the game, which you can actually even see here whenever I'm moving around the map. You can see the pink thing, which is the war pits, right? War pits are as important as heroes in Call of Dragons, as artifacts, and as anything in the game. Basically, war pits are your third hero. So if you are looking at the war pits like a accessory, I'm sorry, you are making a big mistake. The right warped can make your Archer Legion twice as durable without spending gems. Warpeds in Call of Dragon provides passive boosts and active skills that complement your troops, right? But many players waste resources, waste your gems, waste their money in order for them to make correct warpeds, but they are missing out. For Archer Legion specifically, survivability matters more than raw damage when choosing warpeds. Early game players should prioritize with the warpeds which are primary on early game stages. I believe Sand Lizard is an amazing choice. You won't gonna need a lot of currencies in order for you to build Sand Lizard, because the skills such as Great Care, such as Tranquility, we also should have more healing skills which don't cost a lot and it will do its job, right? But if you want to go for more damaging style, with Kinara, I believe Snow Peak Rock will be amazing. It has a super great synergy with Defense Break, and Defense Break with Kinara and Nico hero pair is perfect synergy, right? Even during the later stages of the game, I believe Snow Peak Rock will be never bad, because Defense Break matters in Call of Dragons. Defense break applies to infantry, and that's really important because infantries are one of the most popular troop type, especially in the open field PvP. In the mid game, when you past couple of seasons, new warpeds are coming out like Nightroke, Shadow Phaedric, and so on and so on. The warped will come out, which name is Shadow Manticore. The Shadow Manticore is the best warped for Maggot and Zaida. I will not repeat, and maybe I will repeat, Maggot and Zaida is the best hero pair for archers, and Shadow Manticore is the best archer warped for best archer hero pair. Barbarism will deal damage and also heal. Healing works amazingly well for archer troops and archer gameplay. That's why I'm trying my best to save up Advanced Chain Strike on the Shadow Manticore. I will also replace my Fatal Bite with Advanced Chain Strike, because this skill will give us a lot of healing. And healing in Call of Dragons is great. That's why I advised you Sand Lizard, because Sand Lizard will give you enough healing. There is another Barbed Manticore which will work with Falgrim and Nico. And of course, if you are still running Syndron and Freygar, Nightroke will be the choice for your Syndron and Freygar, right? And yeah, one more important tip, pet skills should be upgraded in the order. First skill, the talent skill, is the priority. First three talent skills are basically almost like 99% of the times are priority. Number one skill synergy for the archer warpeds are Chain Strike synergy, which are basically synergies with the normal attacks, which is Chain Strike, Intense Chain Strike, and the last one will be Advanced Chain Strike, which will give us a lot of healing, of course. And Blood Roar and Angry Roar are the skills which will increase the crit rate from the warped, which is really important. The perfect leveling roadmap looks like this, right? First month you are trying to get the Snow Peak Rock, you are trying to make it legendary, you are trying to make it like concentration at least on 1 star, then you are collecting regeneration potions, you want to have at least 6-7 slots. If you have 6-7 slots, you have S tier on luck, agility or strength, you are building your warped, you are trying to make your concentration 2 star, you are trying to get intense concentration, you are getting Chain Strike, Intense Chain Strike, and trying to get the Drag Crystals to get Advanced Chain Strike. This roadmap looks like this with almost every single warped. Getting the Barbarism, looking for legendary warped, looking for S tier attributes for your warped. If you got them, looking at the skill slots. If skill slots are enough, you are starting to build your warped. Hopefully, these tips will be important for you to succeed in terms of warped gameplay, because I think it's really important. Beating pay-to-win players strategically, right? I defeat players who have spent over $1,000 regularly. It's not because my archers are simply the best ones and the strongest ones. Pay-to-win players have clear limits in terms of and the advantages, right? They can't buy positioning, timing, or target selection. Their spending gives them higher stats, but stats alone won't gonna win you battles, right? And that's simple fact. So if you understand how to counter them properly, brute force approaches fail because archers specialize in exploiting mistakes rather than head-on fights. Target selection matters more than anything. Never engage a pay-to-play player's main army directly, which is 1 versus 1 fight. Instead, focus on the resource gatherers, reinforced marches, for example. For the mages, try to not overreact, try to not overextend, try to not get caught by 20 targets. Wait for your infantry players to move up, and then you're gonna start moving up, right? This is the tips when you won't gonna get if you are buying bundles. Those are the tips we can only get by playing the game, right? Like for the archer gameplay to work, you have to play with your alliance members as a unit, and that's when you are actually going to succeed. Timing windows decide these fights. Attack during whenever the infantry players are on top of you and you have a protection and you can actually free hit your enemies. So that's why timing always matters, right? And of course, alliance warfare tips change the dynamics. Coordination with teammates to bait pay-to-win players into a unfairable fights. Have a nice teammates pretending to be AFK, for example. We have a lot of artifacts which infantry players are using. Sometimes they blink inside, and they, like, some of them use Shield of Stubbornness, and they will bring mage players to you in order for you to deal damage to them freely. Always look for mage players, but don't hesitate to attack infantry, because if enemy has infantry around the battlefield as an archer player, it will be super hard for you to actually succeed and to actually win those fights, right? And yeah, I think there is a one pretty easy conclusion for this video. Like, after 2 years of maining archers in Call of Dragons, I have proven that mastery beats wallet size. While pay-to-win players rally on temporary advantages, a strategic archer play delivers actually consistent results, right? Last season we fought against maxed out accounts. Last season we fought against tier 5 players. We got 20 million merits. This season we are even harder enemies and we are still doing fun. The fundamentals, positioning, timing, and resource efficiency can be bought in the shop, can't be bought in the shop. Try these strategies yourself and share your results in the comments. I'm curious to see how they work for other players. Remember, slow and steady progress with archers outperforms short-term spending spikes. Stick to the roadmap, refine your tactics, and you will surpass players who rely on money. Good luck, and I will see you in next tide. Bye bye. Wish everybody amazing day, morning, and night. We are going to see each other really soon. Bye bye and good luck.